Hello, people of the internet. It's your boy Skinny Penis, and I finally had access to, or now I have access to the new steel ships, specifically Hoffmann and Prince von Oranje, and I can finally do videos on it. And oh boy, was I wrong about Hoffmann? I thought it's just gonna be like a really fucking trash, stinking German destroyer, and I didn't really see the point of it. Now that I played it, I have a completely different opinion. I personally think it's a greatly balanced DD and a very strong one on top. I mean, especially for randoms. You wouldn't pick German DDs into comp really, because the moment there's radars, your hydro smoke kind of loses most of its value. But yeah, the ship is actually really fucking strong in randoms. And basically most people that, I mean, especially the ones that had access to it in testing, just, I guess, played it wrong. Also expected something incorrect, spec the ship's incorrect, and therefore misplayed it and came to wrong conclusions, which, I mean, can happen. The way I saw the boat or looked at it, I mean, it's a German DD, I wasn't expecting much anyways. But the way I saw it on, like, just the numbers pages, I looked at all the things and I was like, yeah, it's just a shitty version of a Schultz on tier 10. And but it turns out there were some things hidden that I didn't know about and that I now played more around, and I have to say, great DD. So the point was, the thing has increased AG alpha while retaining the penetration of the guns, the 38 millimeters, and also the fire chance, which is it's kind of a game changer because you keep the dispersion of Elbing. You also keep the AP of, or like Elbing Schultz, you keep the dispersion. You also keep the AP pen of like Schultz or Elbing, either of the two. You just don't get the improved penetration angles. But you can still shit AP into broadsides. But what I didn't know is that the thing has higher HE alpha while it retains the dispersion, which means you can actually snipe destroyers consistently for like 4.3k alpha, I think it is, while getting fires and while breaking the guns. So maybe like, for example, here, what volley do we get? 5 hits, 3.6k. And the thing is, you will hit your shots on these DDs because you do not have dispersion, basically. It's one shell. And you also retain the pen, so like you can work on cruises, as you can see here. And you can also work on... oh wait, I should maybe activate the sound. And you can also work on battleships, a lot of battleships. Funnily enough, also the US battleships. Obviously here, in this game, for example, pretty shit situation because I'm immediately playing into a radar, which is really bad. That's obviously the thing with the 6 cam hydro. It doesn't mean shit if there's raiders against you. But yeah, also, I thought, but that was just me not even giving a shit about the boat anymore. I thought that boat only had 10 and 10.5 kilometer torps, like Z42, Z52, shit like that. I thought they just gave it those torps, so you have fast torps, fast reloading torps, but less range than Elbing. Instead, they actually gave it 12 kilometer torps with fast reload and fast, like the torps themselves are fast. And that coupled with great HE alpha and good fire chance. I mean, the fire chance is not crazy. You're not gonna set a million fires, but it's the same thing as on Svea. It's the same thing as on Smaland, on Marceau, on other long-range torpedoes allow you to get hits with floodings here and there. Like I already got a torpid with a flood. And therefore you can follow up with perma-fires faster and quicker. So your fires per minute become way more potent and impactful. Obviously you can see here, the hydro is a big thing. A general weakness of Schultz and Elbing is they don't like to sit in smokes for very long if there's lots of torpedo DDs, and there's certain torpedo DDs that really fuck you up. Gearing submerged torps are nuts against you. Haaland Peds are really annoying. And even Shimmer, if they stack all sets on the same spot, you're fat, you're clumsy, you have to automatically keep a certain level of distance with Elbing, Schultz and stuff, because you can't risk eating Pete's early. Doesn't matter if you have a lot of HP, the torpedoes, you don't have a torpedo belt, so you will eat massive damage, and you need the HP to fight destroyers, because you don't have fast DPM. Even on this car, but we can talk about it a bit more. Like, The Hydro allows you to play for caps, and you have 6.4 conceal, which is on par with like Elbing's. Elbing has 6.5. Schultz, I don't even know what it had anymore. It sounds shit, but you have 6 km Hydro, so you're kind of protected to be outspotted. It's like 400 meters, and then you would counter Hydro. By the way, here you can see flat sides. You still retain the AP and the Alpha, so therefore you're getting great hits, and since I'm at range, he has a choice. Either he lets the Montana perma wank on him, or he risks a shot on me, and I may dodge it, and or he may not have good dispersion. So like, he goes for the safe option, is killing the Monty, but in the meantime, I can just hump him with AP and deal a great amount of damage. But yeah, it's mainly the Hydro Smoke combination with the great HE that allows this ship, even though it's supposed to be like this Elbing Schultz type boat, but it allows it to play easily for caps and enemy destroyers. It's very easy. Also, as you can see here, the torpedoes are great. Having these decently fast torpedoes with 12 km range, you will hit a lot of torps here and there. You don't have to spec for them. I mean, you could. It probably gets an obscene amount of torpedo DPM because you have 80-second space. So basically, if you run the module and the captain skill, you get down to a minute reload, and then you get AR on top. I wouldn't do it because the torps are good enough to just be used frequently in games and get a lot of damage and floods. And yeah, you want the floods. That's what you go for here. As you can see, I had to give ground, run with the Monty. Now I can push back. The Des Moines ate my peds and the Colombo died. There's not really much you can do here apart from running because you're unable to stay in the radar of the Des Moines, especially not if there's an Elbing and a Daring with him and a Colombo. Like, you just have to run. But now the Colombo overcommitted. The Des Moines ate my peds. I can finally repush. I pop my Hydro. Obviously, you go for Hydro module. It's very important. And we're pushing back. And we're trying to go for the destroyers now. Also, something that is very important is you can spec Luchins, so you will get the 8% gun proc a lot. And you will also get, that's actually a massive thing, on top of having 29.4k HP with Survivability Expert on the flag, which is a lot of HP, by the way. So, like, saying the ship doesn't kill destroyers fast is just brain dead, because how the fuck does the enemy destroyer kill you fast? You have 29,000 HP. That's not something you magically burn through on most DDs. The only way they burn through that is if you're purposefully flat broadside against like a Daring, a Smalan, a Marceau, like high DPM ships, and purposefully broadside so they fuse their AP all the time. But you can just angle out. You have 29k, they deal like 8k with AP, you're angled, suddenly they have to switch to HE. And in the process, you have smoke, you have Hydro. Obviously, the smoke is shit because it's a German one, but you can have 4 with Superintendent. So as long as you're patient, like 1 minute in between your smoke and Hydro coming off cooldown again, as long as you're patient and you wait it out and focus more on spotting and torping maybe in between, you always have, or you have a combination that griefs or basically makes most of the enemy DDs unable to play against you 4 times per game. It's great. And yeah, it's the HE that probably people didn't really see. The thing is, with the dispersion and the pen, you can also snipe noses, asses, for fires, for penetration damage. When they go flat, you can still deal the AP damage. So like, you get the entire package. Not having the improved pen is actually not that much of a downside if in return you get great HE. Unironically, like, people are flat enough anyways. For example, here I try the AP. I get overpens on on superstructure mainly, but I could, like, now I couldn't pen him, so I have to switch to HE. And Elbing would have probably, maybe, if you hit the right spot, would have done like 8-9k fuse AP damage, maybe. It could have worked at that angle. The thing is though, why? Like, I don't need to. I can, look, I can even target his nose for the fire, for the gun damage, which I did now. And I still did 3.6k, and while he was saturated, now I do 2.1, get a fire. Now he's turning up to the side again, so I can hit that. You also don't have any issues of penetrating the heavier destroyers, apart from Khabarovsk and Delny with the 50 mils platings, but those obviously have a hard time against you because you fuse your AP very, very easy. But like a Ragnar or a Elbing here with 25, you don't care. You have the penetration. You can just hit them. Obviously, at mid-range to long-range, if you shoot AP into those DDs, you will most likely get more damage. But it's always like an RNG festival. With this HE and the dispersion, you basically get skill checked. Like, if you miss because you're shit. you don't miss because, like, okay, there's aimbox, true that, but if you miss because you're shit. It's like the dispersion allows you to snipe for any part of a ship, really. Like at this 9 kilometers, as you can see here, I can just target the ass. And yeah, the Elbing was buffed in terms of fire chance, and I think I had to check it though. The Hoffmann actually kept the fire chance. Like 13% is pretty good. Like you get a lot of fires in this ship. I mean, it's still not like this farmer. You can't really play it as long range as a farmer because you have limited base range with 11.4 and you can only get it to 13.4 with AFT, which you should because shooting, farming here and there is definitely part of the gameplay. On this boat it is. But the rest of the skills has to go into your utility, which is you go for superintendent, you go for concealment, and sadly you are only able to get the 1-pointer for consumable reload, which is really good value here. Like you get last stand and you have one pointer left because you only go 2 4-pointers, 3 3-pointers, then you have 2 1-pointers. Obviously go last stand and then the consumable reload. But like the duration skill for 2 points wouldn't even be that crazy. The reload is actually more important. But yeah, obviously you're point starved, as on any gun or hybrid DD. You want a lot of skills, but you can't get them. So this is like the most optimal build in my opinion. You get range to farm. You go reload mod, not torpedo reload. So you get some DPM. Then you run your dispersion module for the guns, your hydro mod, and then most of your skills for concealment and more utility and faster cooldown on utility, and that's what you play around. Obviously in fast games you're not gonna magically end up with like 300k because the ship needs some time to get damage. By the way, here for example, like got some fires on that guy, made him run. There comes a point where like obviously we were trying for the kill, but at some point it just becomes unfeasible to chase him. But because you have to defend base, you have to go back with the vamp, right? But he's zoned away, so like he doesn't have an angle now on our Monty and Essex, or he needs like at least 2-3 minutes, probably more, to come back and get an angle again. Which he will. He will come back, but it's gonna take so long that we can work on base. Like he stopped chasing there. Yeah, also here, great like vampire player, by the way, was on stream and he worked for decaps and stuff. I had a big issue with the devastation, the Ragnar, the carrier and everything to actually peek this and play open water or anything, because like I'm still a fat clumsy destroyer. I want my smoke, I want my hydro, I want all of this to be up and then sit there and support. Or if the devastation, for example, dies magically, then I could maybe go for the destroyer. But for now, I just want to be able to support these people. I can't really go in and randomly run at these guys. Also, like the carrier is gonna perma spot me, so unless the vamp and I sit and smoke, it's a bit fucked. But yeah, as you can see here, once again, 10.6, just chugging out the peats. We already have 3 peat hits, torp hits. We will hit more torps on devastation, get his DCP out, or permaflood him. It doesn't matter, either of the two you will get. And then we will also be hitting torps on the Satsuma later when he repushes. Like the torps are great utility on this card. You don't have to spec them and they're still great. And then you have smoke and guns to capitalize on potential DCPs and floods, stuff like that. So yeah, the ship is just like a hybrid. It plays into like similar roles as like the other Z's, but also like daring, Grozavoid type stuff, where you have guns, where you have torps. It just gets the German flavor, where your reload is long, your dispersion is great, your penetration is high. Also now your alpha is high. Like, it's just a different flavor. And I have to say, great. I mean, obviously, the defa is whatever. I mean, shit carriers actually may lose a bunch of planes to you. Yeah, but as you can see, for example, I get pen damage. So like it doesn't look fancy because you don't shoot a lot, but it's consistent damage and there's nothing the enemy can do about it. That was like a 4k HE alpha on the side plating, by the way. It's kind of like small cruiser volleys that are coming your way with the HE. Like Elbing and Schultz for a long time had really shit HE that you would never use. And they buffed it, and even in the buffed state, I think it's not as good as this one here. I think Elbing now has 1.8k alpha. And this one has 2.2k. This is a big increase. Also here you can see the Lichens. By the way, the HP bar on this thing is hilariously bugged. The first 4,000 HP you lose, the HP bar is not going down, and the last 4,000 HP you have basically shows you as already dead. Oranje has a turret bug where it breaks to HE all the time. This one here has a HP bar bug. They're not gonna fix this shit because it doesn't make the money, but God forbid there is a carrier or a sub bug, they immediately fix it. Just like a worthless company at this point. Like, holy shit, they're catering to the autistic bunch, like fucking 10-12% of the player base. If they have bugs against them, then like insta fix, call the boys in on a Sunday fucking 2 a.m. in the morning, just call the boys in, we gotta hot fix the carrier shit, and then this garbage here runs around with bugs for years. It's actually pretty annoying to have your HP bar bugged, because sometimes you just want the visual cue as to how far the bar is up, how much HP you still have left, so you misjudge some situations. It is just fucking stupid. But yeah, once again, sending the peats, getting the pens on the side plating, getting the fires. I like the destroyer. Also, what I said earlier, you want to use the smokes, like a Schultz and an Elbing. But a Schultz and an Elbing have the problem that they eat a lot of torpedoes in those smokes if they're very close. But you want to be as close as possible because you can get these really juicy hits. You can target specific parts of the ships, and obviously your torps are easier to hit if you're super close, right? But those other DDs just can't do it because they don't have a hydro. They most likely eat peats. And also, like, if someone rushes your smoke, you have no vision of him unless your team spots. On this card, you can just prop your hydro and you see the ship approaching. So, like, I was already rushed by battleships in my smoke. I can just wait with hydro in it, watch him come closer, and then use my 10 torps to yeet him out. It's just way easier to play, it's way more effective to play, and you can play it in position and situations where you're actually impacting the game way more than just like a long range farm destroyer like an Elbing or like how most people play it. The thing is just, you have to play it with concealment, and you have to probably play it with superintendent because you want all your utility. If I didn't have a 4th smoke here, I could have not killed the Satsuma. Obviously these ships, like German DDs in general, scale a lot with long drawn out games, because the later it gets, the more valuable your smoke hydros becomes if you still have it up. Cruisers will be dead, hydros will be gone, raiders will be gone. You will find gaps in the enemy team, you will have open caps, all of this. So obviously, like, if it's a short game, you won't really be able to get that much value out of it, but I like it. It's a very calm, easy to play, predictable DD that is also hard to punish. And something you, as I said, like, you keep the penetration of the AP. I mean, here lots of DDs would have sit, but you can also citadel light cruisers like Brisbane's Minnows at 11 or 12 km. That's not a problem for this ship. You just won't get the citadels if they slightly angle. You won't get them as easy. But if they're flat, you have an easy time. Also, certain smoke cruisers like Yinan, Smolly, stuff like that, you can even hydro out of their own smoke while you're smoking yourself, and then you can kill them. Like, and also, like, you can send easy torps all the time for those smokes. You can send torps for DDs, for battleship, whatever. It's just, I thought it's shit because I just thought it's going to be 10 kilometer and above long range spam DD like the line. It is not. It is designed, and it gets the utility to be in the caps to fight enemy DDs, and then also play closer, but still like have the ability to farm, just not as good, let's say. Though arguably, because you keep the HE, where you have the improved HE, alpha, and also you keep the fire chance with better torps, easier to hit torps. Your farming in some situations is actually better, because yeah, you just set more fires and you hit torps easier, so you can farm heavy ships down faster if they eat torps, which, by the way, in this game kind of happened. Like, lots of people ate my peats. So, like, maybe not the best game because there was a lot of super ship farming going on. I got a carry in the end, but I will play it live too, so you will see it's not going to produce a 300k game all the time. It's also not going to produce 200k on cooldown. I would say it's around like 140-50 average, which is very high already, but it retains a lot of game impact in caps, killing DDs for free. Like, it's randoms. I generally dislike German destroyers with 6km hydro, because the moment you have raiders against you, I just feel helpless, and it's shit because the other guy in port decided to play a ship that has a gimmick that just beats yours. It's like supposed to do basically the same in most scenarios, but it's just better because it has a longer range. So like I don't really like the 6kms that much, but I start to enjoy them more and more because randoms is just full of fucking monkeys. Like DDs literally run into your hydro in this ship, and you can fucking shoot 4 or 5 times with HE on like the Shimmer or the Haaland, and that nearly kills them with Alpha. And you will get fires and engine damages on top. Like it's super, super, super effective at that. And especially in randoms, people are just stupid. They also turn flat to the ship because it's a DD, and you can get massive AP hits. They will also disrespect the fact you have actually good torps. There's a lot going for this boat, and I think lots of people just undervalued it massively. Obviously, the reason why lots of Unicums and Super Unicums were very good players that tested it misjudged it is because they thought basically the same that I did. It's a long-range farmer, which it just isn't. So like they spec'd it without concealment. They tried to sit at range and farm. They probably tried to open water, even though it only gets like 13 point something K range with AFT, which isn't enough range to really open water a lot. Elbing with 16 point something range, I believe, with AFT is way easier to play because you're so far away, and it also gets the ledge mod, but this one here just doesn't get the range. Yeah, I personally enjoyed a lot. As you can see here, the damage distribution, when people turn flat, you get AP. You will get a lot of HE alpha. There's a lot of BBs you pen, and if you don't pen it like a Colombo, you could technically target nose and ass if he's close. As you can see here, 10 shells, that's like 2 volleys on a daring, deal 7.2k alpha. That's a lot of damage. And you have fast shells, good arcs. You can snipe these destroyers at 10 kilometers for that alpha. You just have to have good aim. But it's good. There's like no RNG involved. Like on the line, you always have to hope they angle in a way or you hit in a way that your AP fuses, which also only happens consistently on fat DDs. On something like a Shimmer, it's very sketch because you may get the 6k fuse hit, but you also may just get the 2k overpen hit or the 1.5k overpen hit, or you might just ricochet off entirely. Like this ship just doesn't have this RNG factor anymore. Obviously, as I said, like don't go too much into the farming. The floods and fires is something you can get, but you shouldn't play for it. It's more like a control style DD, that's for sure. But yeah, that's also on this game we procced Lucians. So I had a lot of HP left in the end, I think like around 9k, 10k, and I already took 24.8, means I got a Lucian's proc, I think it is here, yeah, 3 spotting, which is amazing. Like, you get a lot of random mid-game, sometimes even late-game small heals, and those heals are kind of like a daring heal in terms of effectiveness, and that's great. Like, you're not supposed to have, potentially in some games, you get 6 of those spotting ribbons, and like you get it after you already lost HP. So that's like, I think with Lucian's like 6k more HP or something, maybe a bit more. I think they heal for 2.5 or 3.5 or 3k, like 6k, let's say, more HP. That brings you up to 35k HP. That's a lot. That's a fuck ton for a DD that doesn't necessarily even need to be spotted to deal damage and can just sit in a smoke and hydro enemy DDs or just sit in a smoke and farm. But yeah, definitely worth getting in my opinion. I will also do a video on the Oranje, which is also worth getting. I liked it a lot as well. It's crazy in terms of farming with Oranje and easy funny drops from super long range. But yeah, the Hoffmann and the Oranje go out of the armory. And only the Shinano and Archbishop are gonna come back. I'm not gonna get them. I'm not gonna do a review on them because I just don't want to play them. It's a carry and a sub. Go fuck yourself if you play them. I don't give a shit. It's griefing. Hoffmann leaves and Oranje leaves. We don't know when they come back. I personally would say get them. If you buy Christmas crates or you plan on buying Christmas crates, purchase the Christmas crates first, get the golden crates, or see if you can get lucky there. Also remember there's a pity system on the golden, so if you buy a lot of Christmas crates, after 10 golden crates, you will get one of those ships, Chikuma, Hoffmann, or Oranje by default. Like, it's a pity system as well. Like, if you plan on buying crates anyways, then get them first, and then afterwards buy the ship you're missing, so you can save some steel. But yeah, definitely worth getting. I have a lot of fun on it. It's very easy and relaxing to play. And I have to say, well balanced too. It's not broken, it's not useless, it's right in the middle, probably on the upper part of effectiveness. Obviously a DD. But yeah, that's it for Hoffmann. See you in the next video.